Hey, if you've watched this channel long enough, you know we are positive. We are positive about everything. But there is a harsh reality. In fact, there's 3 harsh realities that the Detroit Lions are going to have to take with a grain of salt after the final preseason game. These are not the worst things in the world. We're not talking about who in the world is going to start at certain positions. We're not worried about that kind of stuff. But they do have a depth problem in 3 different positions. One of them is a complete turn from what I was just saying in a video a week and a half ago, talking about how depth is no longer a problem at defensive end. But we're going to get into that later in this video. But before we do all that, before we get into the 3 harsh realities, let's talk about a reality that's a good thing. And when you're watching the second preseason game, what were you most encouraged by? I would love to know. Throw it in the comments below. What were you most encouraged by when we're talking about our most recent game against the Houston Texans? Again, another loss for the Detroit Lions, where, again, it seemed like we were playing more third stringers to anything else. But with all that, my one good thing, they got Kyle Allen in and out of that game so fast. 5 of 5, right? 66 yards. Perfectly thrown touchdown to Isaac Tesla. 2 guys, Kyle Allen, Isaac Tesla, continue to show just flat out how good they are. And it is going to be hard for the Detroit Lions to keep Tesla off the field this year. I once again firmly believe that by mid-year, if not sooner, he will be taking over for Tim Patrick. And I even talked about it in a video earlier. Tim Patrick hasn't seen the field during a preseason game, which would, of course, mark a sign that he is set and ready to go. And I do still think he'll make this team because of the poor play of Henden Hooker. Jackson Meeks didn't get to show that he could be the X receiver again. But with all of that being said, Tesla's good. Kyle Allen is our backup quarterback, but that means the harsh reality for Henden Hooker. Henden Hooker has been very, very poor. He did have a decent, 30-yard pass that got called back with a holding penalty. But here's I don't know how to put this. Let me show you this, okay? His mobility is a known commodity, but we need more than that, all right? With Hooker at quarterbacks, approximately 9 quarters of preseason football, the Lions have mustered just 3 points. A field goal drive that came on a muffed Miami Dolphins punt. He has 5 turnovers, 3 interceptions, 2 fumbles, 0 touchdowns. This is not acceptable for a backup quarterback regardless of the players around him. Plain and simple. I thought I remember him running in for a touchdown too, but I'm going to take this as truth as I'm reading it here from Pride of Detroit. Here's the other thing that we're seeing. All right, Jackson Meeks, Dominic Lovett, these guys that are hoping to make the team, these guys that are battling for a wide receiver position, we can't get an accurate look at them because Henden Hooker has been so bad, even with 3s on 3s. He was bad with 2s on 2s, 2s on 3s, 3s on 2s. All right, and it doesn't matter what it is, Henden Hooker has been bad. And when you look at that, we have to also realize that Dan Campbell had a harsh, brutal quote when it looks to Henden Hooker as well. I just sneezed. Bless me. Just proves that we're live. All right. Look, I want you to hear this. It's always going to be how much development do you believe there is? Because look, we're talking about Hooker right now. How much development do you believe there still is? Sometimes the player needs a change of scenery. Yikes. Oh, that is not good for Henden Hooker. That is not good. And I don't know if that's Dan Campbell saying, hey, we need to trade this guy. I don't know if that's him saying we need to trade this guy. I don't know if that's him saying we're releasing this guy. I don't know if that's him saying if we release him, somebody else needs to pick him up off of waivers. I don't know. But he went on to talk about depth in other areas, O-line, D-line, receiver, DB. The first harsh reality for the Detroit Lions has to be that Henden Hooker is not the guy. He's not the guy. So, yeah, I do think that that's kind of tough to hear. I think it's tough to hear. All right. Here's the second harsh reality. The defensive end in this, the defensive end position for the Detroit Lions no longer has the depth that I was hoping for it to. This is a defensive line that looks, an edge room that looks markedly different now that Hassanin is no longer there. Our top three, I think, are set. I gave a great reason as to why Al-Quadin Muhammad, throughout his career, has always been a fringe, like 60. All right, on PFF, the top 64 players would be considered starting edges, right? They would be edge defenders, top 64. He's consistently been in the high 60s, in the 70s. That's what Al-Quadin Muhammad's been. He is a number 3 player. Would you like it to be better? Yes. We've talked about Nate Lynn being that fourth option. Yes, okay, that's fine, but I'm not confident with Nate Lynn playing large amounts of snaps up to this point. However, after that, what is there? When it was Hassanin, you thought like, all right, this could look good. Josh Paschal, still injured, and the team is now saying they actually prefer him more at defensive tackle than they do at edge. Who is the next edge? Is it Keith Cooper? Is it Pat O'Connor? Like, these are the difficult things where they probably are more suited to play more of a tackle role, but Cooper's been lined up on the outside. That's not going to get any pressure on the quarterback. Look, I don't have a doubt that we have a lot of edge defenders that can stop the run. Nate Lynn might be, not Anthony Lynn, that's our old defensive coordinator. Nate Lynn might be able to get some pressure on the quarterback every once in a while, but we have one-trick ponies in that defensive edge room now. That's what we have when you get past our top two. And with the injury history of Marcus Davenport, it's something we need to look into. It might be time to go out and get another edge. We have 2 weeks left for the regular season. Maybe it's time. The other area in which we don't have a ton of depth is the cornerback room. I think it's the cornerback room. Yes, you have DJ Reed. Yes, you have Terry Arnold, who's been hurt twice already. Yes, you have Amik Robertson, right? But what we were hoping our number 5 corner would be, Khalil Dorsey, is now the number 4 corner because not because of Amik Robertson, but because we had a major injury to another corner that is going to be out for the year. And so when I look at that, you have to realize we're basically 3 deep at corner, and then it gets quickly to the point of like, ooh, how are we going to be there? We also don't know the full health of Khalil Dorsey yet. So who's another corner that you have here? Is it Whiteside, a guy coming out of a Division II school? Like, is that your guy that's going to play corner? Is it Alan George, who came on late in camp but made a good play and a really bad play? Is it Tyson Russell, who has played all 5 defensive back positions? So you just have a guy that's extremely versatile. I am concerned all around with the safety and corner DB position. Now, don't get me wrong. Avonte Maddox is still there. Rock Ya-Sin is still there. So it's not the end of the world. I think we're forgetting that these guys can play both corner and safety, but I still have some concerns. So there is a harsh reality that there's some depth issues at corner and at defensive end. There is the harsh reality that Henden Hooker he's done. Like, I think the Henden Hooker experiment's over, which is a tough pill to swallow. 3rd-round pick, quarterback. He was supposed to be the backup quarterback of the future, and now we don't have him. I am excited about Kyle Allen. I am, and I'm thankful that we have Jared Goff. But these are good problems to have. Like, okay, backup quarterback didn't end up panning out. We found another guy. And then we just worry about what happens if 2 guys get injured at each position. It's a good problem to have, but it is a reality that we must now face. All right, thanks for watching. If you like it, hit that subscribe button. See you on the next one.